Good morning, everybody. We are here again for another Diamond Factor experience with Barbara Beckley and experts. I always add that because this show would not be a show without my experts and my special guests that come on. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You just don't know how important you are. And thank you for always supporting me. And this show really wouldn't be a show if it wasn't for the viewers. Because it's one thing to come on every day or every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and talk to crickets. So we're not talking to crickets. We're talking to people, viewers, because I have the proof in the pudding. Every time I'm amazed of the numbers that I received just last week of how many viewers are watching the Diamond Factor experience. So thank you so much. This has been a dream come true for me because the biggest thing that I always tell people what my mission is to make sure that I can help give more exposure, and more for people, for other people. And I know that this is a platform for that. So I will continuously do this because I believe that it helps others move up in their goals and their dreams and their results in their life. So I'm just like they say, I'm just a vessel. I'm the middleman. I'm the cheerleader. I'm the person that cheers everybody on and moves, helps to move them to the next level. And just a little, just if I could do this little thing for others, I know that it's going to create a big impact for the world for people that come onto the platform. So with that, I always start with a quote to get us going, to think about some things, to get us through the day. It's Wednesday and it's like the day before New Year's, the 2021 coming in. Whew, I can't believe it. Every time I think about it, it's like, wow, what a year, what a year, what a year. So my quote for the day is regarding belief. Believe in yourself is the first secret to success. So that came across to me because I've been really, really, really for the last few weeks thinking about understanding believing in you. I always tell people I can tell you that you're awesome, amazing, just tremendous. You're the stars, you're the moon. But if you don't think that you're just a little tad of a star, then it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. It matters what you think inside of you. And that's why I'm always bringing it back home when I talk about the diamond factor and understand your PPD, which is your purpose, passion, and drive. That is the foundation. You have to believe in all that in you. And if you do not believe, then you're not gonna move where you need to go because you don't believe in yourself. So we need to make sure that you believe in you. And I'm gonna start by saying the biggest thing that I do, because I always gotta give you a tip to get to that point, right? The biggest thing I do is do affirmations. Every morning when I wake up, I say, I believe in Barbara. I trust in Barbara. I love Barbara. Barbara has knowledge. I have to continuously do that for myself because I'm a poster child of a person. When I was younger, I was basically bullied to saying that I was nothing, I was ugly, I wouldn't get nowhere. I mean, that was taunting me in my ears every single day. So that's why I have to scoop all that out, even me being older now, and keep saying to myself that I am knowledgeable, I am moving forth, I can create results in my life. I am beautiful. So you have to keep saying that, and whatever affirmation you have to do, if you got to post it in your bathroom, you got to post it in the kitchen, you got to post it on the refrigerator, wherever you got to do, make sure that you're always seeing yourself as a positive within you. And once you get in your head, I always tell people it starts getting in your heart. But you have to take those steps and believe in who you are. So with that, we are going to get started. Here we go. always love that music. I wish I learned how to play the drums. I really do. That was one of my little secret things that I wanted to do. Every time I see Phil Collins and everybody beating those drums, I'd be like, yeah, yeah. Somebody probably ask me right now who's Phil Collins, but that's okay. That's okay. We can get into that next week. But with that said, I want to bring on our wonderful expert for today. As you know, he is the gym hunter. He is awesome, tremendous. And you know what? He believes in himself. I don't have to, I can say all these words, but I know for a fact he understands his value because he has so much good value and a lot of things that he's going to give us today. So if you're coming on, be ready because I know Barry has some good things for us today. So here, I'm not going to take more time. We're going to bring him right on, and here we go.
I started to start out by just going crickets, but I think you came on for more than that. Just a tease to Barbara. Good morning. Welcome to Wednesday morning. This is the last show of 2020. My name is Barry Mixon, and welcome to another episode of the Gem Hunter Show. Before I get started, I want to kind of do a review of some of the things that we had already talked about, because as I told you, this is an 8-week journey into the whole concept of storytelling, the powers of stories. So I want to start back just for those of you who are just coming on the show. Welcome. My name is Barry Mixon. I am a gemological storyteller. What I do is I take the concepts and the techniques that you find that I use to appraise gemstones and apply it to people. Because many of the same characteristics that you'd find in rubies, emeralds, sapphires, pearls, you find in people. And that's what began my story and began my journey into linking gemstones and people together. So let's do a review. I talked about the 8 elements of storytelling. The first element was once upon a time, that all of us are genetically predisposed to understand once upon a time. As soon as you heard that, you knew that a story was coming. And what I was talking about a couple of weeks ago was that was our parents' way of creating the template for all of us to follow. Those stories stuck with us. Many of those stories stuck with us for most of our lives. All of us can remember a story that our mother said, our father said, our grandparents said to us. And those stories were the stories that kind of began the process of defining us, of who we are. So that's the first element. The second element is sound. And as I told you from the very beginning, nothing has value without a story. So sound is the initial direction. That is when you have begun to think about, what do you want to go? What do you want to do? Which direction do you want to take? What do you want to create in your life? That's sound. And that's vitally important, because every morning I get up and the first thing I do is, and this might sound morbid, but the first thing I do is I look at how many people who are no longer here with us due to the coronavirus. We're up to 336,000 people who are no longer here. Think about that. 336,000 people that a year ago, or almost a year ago, they woke up. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. They woke up 12 months ago planning, thinking about a brand new life. Some of them were going to get married. Some were planning to have children. Some of them were talking about a new job. And now today, on December 30th, they're gone. So what was their sound? So I think every morning, which direction am I going to go? That's your sound. And today, what we're going to talk about is the third element. The third element, that without that element, you really don't even have a story. So let me start out by telling you a story. Thank you. One of our viewers, Jeff Stein, was talking about even more stories. No problem. A young man in 1529 got on a boat and left from Spain. Him and 250 guys, conquistadors, traveled across the Atlantic Ocean. 1529 is 37 years after Columbus. He got on a boat with 250 guys, and he traveled across the Atlantic Ocean to South America. And once he got to South America, he had to fight indigenous tribes. He had to climb mountains 10, 20,000 feet in height. Indigenous cultures, indigenous animals, things of this. So when he got to the top of a hill, of a mountain, when he looked down, he saw an encampment of 80,000 Inca warriors. Already had just finished fighting a civil war, so they were battle trained, ready. And his lieutenant came to him and said, "What are we going to do?" Remember, 250 guys versus 80,000, and they had no idea what they were going to do. They had no idea what those Inca warriors were going to do to them. And Pizarro, his name was Francisco Pizarro, and Pizarro looked at his lieutenant, trembling in fear, thinking that this was the end. Pizarro looked at his lieutenant, looked at his men, and said, "We can do this because we came here for one reason: gold." He came there in 1532, in November of 1532, and by July of 1533, 250 Spaniards literally conquered and subdued a whole empire, which was about 3 million people, in less than a year. Let's fast forward to, 1884. A young man who his expertise was mechanical and electrical engineering, who did not finish school, took everything he had, just a bag of clothes, and he came to America with 4 cents in his pocket. Seeked out his idol, Thomas Edison. Found his idol, Thomas Edison, told him that I need to work with you, Mr. Edison. You represent everything I want to be able to do with this science that I learned. Again, taught himself. Thomas Edison needed, at that time, Thomas Edison had created direct current, DC current, but it wasn't working well. It wasn't working well for him. Those of you who forgot your high school physics, DC or direct current can only travel so far. So you needed power plants everywhere. And the technology that existed at that time made those power plants very fragile. They broke down all the time. So Edison told this young man who was from another country, he said, "I tell you what, you fix my power plants, I will not only reward you with giving you a promotion, I will give you $50,000, which works out to about $1.3 million in today's money." Tesla went to work. Nikola Tesla, for those of you who know the history, Nikola Tesla went to work. For months and months and months, he visited all of Edison's power plants, fixed them all. And when he came back to Edison, he said to Edison, "I got it done. They're all fixed. I really need that $50,000, sir, please." Edison laughed. Edison said, "Oh, I was only joking. Psych. just messing around. You're not aware of the American humor. Tesla upset, mad because this man not only was he his hero, but he just completely just disrespected what he did. So Tesla left Edison's company and created his own company. And him and George Westinghouse created something called alternative current, AC current, which allowed you to power something, a building, anything from hundreds of miles away. Tesla's work and his technology powers the whole world. Everything that we're doing right now really came. Cell phones, he saw 100 years before they were invented. Tablets, computers, most of the things that we do in our lives came from Tesla's experiment. Unfortunately, Tesla died. He was 86 years old and he died penniless. And most people don't even know who Tesla was, other than the car company. What is the similarity? Excuse me. What is the similarity between Edison and Tesla? One person, I'm sorry. What is the similarity between Pizarro and Tesla? One man used his power to destroy and subdue a whole entire empire for gold. The other man used his inspiration and his power to literally light up the whole world. What is the commonality between Pizarro and Tesla? Passion. Passion is the third element of a story. You have to have passion for whatever you're going to do. Passion is the reason why you get up in the morning. And I say this to you on almost the last day of 2020 is because at this point in time, with 336,000 people who are no longer here, they're predicting up to 400,000 by January 20th. 400,000 people. And that's just in the United States. I don't know what the numbers are worldwide, but this is the moment. This is the time. As Barbara said in her opening, you have to believe in yourself. This is the time, because there's only going to be, when this is all over, there's only going to be two types of people in the world. People, who you are, I'd say really not even two people. There's only going to be one type of person in the world. You before the virus and you after the virus. BC, BV, and AV. Today, tomorrow, take a moment to think about, what is your passion? What is it that you want to do in your life? Passion is what drives you. Passion is the movement, is the energy that keeps you going. Yes, you can make a decision. Once upon a time, you wanted to be this. Yes, you have a concept of where you want to go. You want to open up a new restaurant. You want to start a new business. But passion is the thing that's going to get you through. Passion is the thing that moves you. It's why you wake up in the morning. All of us are going to have, the whole world is different. As someone who teaches science and history, this is one of those transformative moments in history. The whole world is experiencing this global pandemic. And each of us are going through tremendous struggles in our own way. Some of us are going through mental struggles. Many of us are going through financial struggles. Some of us are going through identity crises, the things that we wanted to be or who we were before the pandemic. That industry, that job, that sense of who we are is no longer there. This is the time to start all over again. This is the time to find that place that you used to be. This is why storytelling is so important. Without passion, you don't really even have a story. As some of you know, I am a Toastmaster. I have competed in a few speaking contests, and I've won pretty much all the ones that I've competed in. The only difference between me and the wonderful fellow Toastmasters I competed against is passion. In my storytelling practice, where I will listen to and help someone to create their story, the first thing I do is listen. The first thing I do is listen to whether they're telling a speech or telling a story or giving a speech. And I can't tell you how many times people who have wonderful voices and wonderful diction and wonderful presentation and stagecraft and all those things, they can't tell a story. They're giving a speech and you hear the speech and you're like, oh yeah, that's good. That's nice. But they didn't say anything to move you. And so many of us leave that music that's inside of us inside and never let the world know who you are. What do you want to do? What is your passion? This is the time. Many of us are complaining, and rightfully so. I understand. It's hard being in the house every day. It's hard hearing the numbers. Some of us have lost family members and friends. Some of us are terrified. I'm 60 years old. And today I read about a young woman, I forgot what state she was, 14 years old. No preconditions, died due to the coronavirus. I read about the senator or the congressman who died, just got elected to Congress, 41 years old, dead due to the coronavirus, due to COVID. This is the time, ladies and gentlemen, to ask yourself, what are you passionate about? What do you want to do? Take this time. If you're in the house, read a book. Remember those books that you said, oh, I don't have time. I can't wait when I get around to it. Well, this is your round to it. I used to have one of those little discs that said around to it. This is your time. The wonderful thing about the times that we're living in is because we have the internet, because we have Google, because we have all these online classes to learn how to play piano, to learn how to play the guitar, to lose weight, to do all the things that we want to do. That's what passion is. That's what you will be remembered for. People will know who you are because of what you brought to it, the excitement that you brought to it. Even though Tesla is not known, Tesla should be a household name. Tesla, as someone who teaches elementary school and high school, Tesla is not even part of the curriculum, but yet Tesla and his passion that he developed on his own. He was self-taught. He went to school for a little bit to learn mechanical and electrical engineering, but he didn't finish. He quit. But yet today we are driving cars and we're using computers and the technology. I was teaching a student the other day, New York City gets their energy from Niagara Falls, which is the first place Tesla tested his techniques. And that's 410 miles from New York, but yet New York City is powered by Tesla's invention, by Tesla's passion. So what are you going to do? What time are you going to take to build yourself? Because that is what a story is. That's what this is all about. That's what the promise that I made to God that I was going to do for the rest of my life. Help people develop their passion, develop their sound, discover the value of their own stories. So yes, we're living in difficult times. We're living in challenging times. We are 2 days away from a brand new year. And you can either be bummed out about it or you could be excited about it. I choose to be excited about it. I don't know how much time I have left. I don't know how much but I hope to create something, whether it be the show, whether it be the appraisals, whether it be the people that I've helped and the kids, the children that I teach on a weekly basis all over the world, I hope that what they remember about Barry B. Mixon is that my passion, my excitement about life. I want people to understand that, yes, I was homeless 28 years ago, living in garbage cans, living in dumpsters, eating food that somebody left behind, leftovers. And yet, what got me through that experience is my passion. I would use television shows that I saw, movies, Star Wars, things like this. In my books that I read all the time, it says in it, very soon so altered has his mind become that the workshop can no longer hold him. It has become so out of harmony with his mentality that it falls out of his life as a garment, is cast aside. And with the growth of opportunity which fit the scope of his expanding powers, he passes out of it forever. Once upon a time, you wanted to do something. Once upon a time, you wanted to be something. And as the years went on, you heard a sound. You heard the drumbeat, the constant drumbeat of you should create that business. You should create that recipe. You should begin to make that restaurant. You should go back to school and get your master's degree, get your doctorate. This is the time. And the thing that will get you to that point, the thing that will get you through not only today, tomorrow, this pandemic, but the rest of your life is passion. The world would be such a better place if all of us began to live our passions, begin to live, and not only live our passions, but begin to respect the passions of other people. What makes them, what drives them. Find out what drives them. Find out why is that piece of art so beautiful? Find out why that music touches them. Why is that exciting to them? And once you begin to find out other people's passions, then not only will you know part of their story, but you will begin to reflect on your own story. You'll begin to say to yourself, how come they're doing that? They climb Mount Everest. You've heard these stories where you hear people who had one leg and they climb Mount Everest. My question always is I got two legs and I'm fairly healthy and I can barely get out of bed. Find that passion. Find that thing. As Barbara said, believe in yourself, and passion is the first step of who you want to be. I hope each and every week, I hope to get people to start to look at themselves. Every week, I hope to get people to realize that a gemstone, rubies, emeralds, sapphires, they never look the way they look now. This ruby here, if I showed you what a rough ruby looked like, you would just think it's a rock. But the similarities between people and gemstones is the fact that once it's polished, once it's faceted, once it's presented in a certain way, once it's cut in a way, then it becomes the beautiful gemstone that you see, that you want to wear on your ears and your fingers and your neck. Become your gemstone. Next week, we will talk about the hero. Becoming the hero in your own story. And if you have any questions, I don't really get a chance to say it, but if you have any questions, Barbara will put my email address, thegemhunter@mac.com. And unfortunately, Zoom doesn't allow that dialogue, but send me questions. Send me things that you would like to understand in regards to the significance of gemstones and who you are and who your story is. And I guarantee you, whatever month you were born in, whatever gemstone you like, there is something in your story that has a similarity to gemstones. So I would like to begin to make my program every Wednesday, 8 o'clock or 8 o'clock-ish, more interactive. It's challenging to speak Zoom because I don't see you. I don't hear that interaction. So the stories that I'm telling you have to be stories that either I imagine or stories that I have seen in my experiences of talking to people all over the world. And I can guarantee you, if you want to succeed in your life, in whatever it is, you have to have passion. You have to figure, what is that? What is that thing that will move you? Nothing has value without a story. So, where do you want to be when this is all over? The vaccine is coming. Uh, Hopefully, more money is coming. What are you going to do with that? What are you going to tell your kids? This is that moment. These are what we're living through right now. Our kids and our kids' will be studying. They will have teachers like myself talking about the pandemic of 2020, just like I teach about the pandemic of 1918. What is your passion? So, again, Happy New Year, happy holidays, and I look forward to seeing all of you next year. And I hope this has begun to start your journey into a whole new world. I'm hanging on your every word, the love inside, I feel it burn. I've never felt this way before. I've had a taste, now I want more. So here we are, just you and me. I'm overwhelmed when you touch me. You talk so sweet, I hear the sound, 'cause when you do, my feet won't touch the ground.
I'm getting ready for New Year's, doing that little dance. I'm telling you, I just had to get. I like that sponsor. She gets you pumped up. Woo, 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 woo. So thank you, Barry. Talking about the passion, right? I do have passion when it came to dancing a long time ago. Telling my age. But you know what? I'm not gonna say that. I want to say I'm gonna get back to the way I really used to just just really get down, just really get down. And then my knees didn't hurt so much. So I'm gonna get that together. So thank you, Barry, for always giving us those tips and understanding how much passion is very important, especially now. Especially now, you have to remind yourself of your passion. You really do, because what's going on? Like I keep telling people, don't let the things around you. Don't let the things that's going around you with this pandemic. I know it's been a test and a challenge, but don't let that move this in your heart. Your heart, that passion, I'm going to do the PPD again, purpose, passion, and drive. That moves you. That is your foundation. And it needs to be a strong foundation. So remember what Barry said about passion. Now, talking about passion, just going right into our next wonderful, and I'll call the ladies Queen Diamonds. This woman, I'm telling you, I feel like I've been knowing her for years, but because of her heart, she has such a golden heart. This lady, it's like I always tell her, I say, wait a minute. I hope you're taking care of yourself because you take care of everybody else and you need to take care of you. So I always got to make sure I need to remind her of that because she is working so hard as a publisher. And I'm telling you, she's number one publisher in my book and everybody else's book. You're going to know this. She's a mentor. She's a speaker. She's a queen. She's royalty. She takes your stories, your pain, what you have dealt with, and put it to paper so you can be an impact for others. And I'm going to say this, to connect and to save lives. Because once a person can understand that other person went through something that you might have went through, and it's on paper, you read it or you see an ebook or whatever, and you say to yourself, wow, that individual went through the same thing I went through, and they had hope and they moved forward in it. And now look what they're doing. It gives you hope when you see another person that maybe went through the same struggles and challenges that you did. And this lady helps bridge that gap to make sure that that story is on paper. So I need to play her little intro here so you know who she is, and then we will bring her on. Yes, yes, yes. The queen
Hi.
is here.
Hello, 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 hello. Thank you so
Hello.
much.
Hello. Hail to the queen. Hail to the queen.
That's right back at you. That's at you. That is at you.
I am so glad that you are here. I know I've been
I'm
on for a
glad to
month
be
and a half,
here.
and I said I'm getting you on here so we can talk, people get to know you, and also continuously. So you're going to be a continued guest. I'm just letting you know that right now.
Hey, I receive it. I receive it. I receive it. Thank you so much. It is a pleasure. It is such a pleasure to be here. And I'm so glad that you thought it necessary to have me on. I so appreciate that. And every opportunity I get to share my story and to help somebody heal through their story, I'm right there. I am right there. So thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here this morning.
Well, it's so nice. Just like I was saying earlier, I'm sorry, I'm hearing feedback. Hopefully, you don't hear feedback on me. But
No, I don't.
that I said earlier about how you help people get from, what their journey is in their life, put it on paper so they can tell it to the world. And
Yes.
you're just such to me, you're always an inspiration to me. And I love that you just not only just say, okay, I can publish your story, I can publish what you went through so people can understand and have hope. But you walked them and you guided them through each and every step of the way. And I know
Yes.
you had some, I mean, some people that you mentioned about that you have dealt with. I mean, there's a few books that's been published just recently
Mhm.
that I'm like, oh my God. I said, Laquita, I mean, I would have been crying through the whole thing with the people, been like,
Yeah.
oh, and everything, and then had to probably go to therapy for myself. So, but you just you just go right there and you just weather it through them and you help them get through those humps and everything so they
Yeah.
can make sure that their story is on top on that story. So just real for the listeners, please tell them how you started and what your passion is with being a publisher.
Okay. Well, so I have a passion for people, and I knew that I like people. I liked talking to people, but as you grow and you get to understand who you are, then you really get to know that this isn't just me liking to talk to people. This is just a passion for helping people. I'm a giver. I've always been a giver, and I am a better giver than I am a receiver. And with me, my story, so my publishing company is called PayProV, and PayProV is it simply means pain, progress, victory. And sometimes people botch the name because it doesn't flow off the tongue, and that's okay because it gives people the opportunity to kind of think about what they're saying, and it makes people curious. Where'd the name come from? How did you come up with that name? Well, that's the story of my life. Pay Pro V is the story of my life. The pain, my pain started as a 4-year-old child when I went into the hospital to have my tonsils removed. And I was given a shot of penicillin in my sciatic nerve, and it poisoned the bone in my leg. And that surgery left me crippled for life. They told my mom I would never walk again. And from that, I had 15 surgeries. So I've experienced pain every single day of my life since I was 4 years old, and I'm 51 years old right now. So that's the pain part. And in the progress, I had a family. I got married during the pain. I had all three of my children during the pain because I had to have a cesarean with all three of them, because one of the surgeries for my leg, they had to take bone out of my pelvis and put it in my foot, and it altered the shape of my pelvis. So I couldn't have my babies vaginally. So I had my children through the pain. And then I went through a horrible, ugly divorce through the pain. All this time, I'm still in pain every day with my physical pain. Then I had to go through my emotional pain and my psychological pain. But oh, the progress. Oh, the progress. I went back to school after 20 years of being at a high school. See, when I went through this, my family was like, okay, I was the weakest link. I was considered the weakest link. I saw myself as the weakest link. So I said, I'm not college material. So they gave me a
Mhm.
pass. I got a pass because, oh, the little crippled girl. So I got a pass, but oh, the progress. So I decided I didn't want to be that anymore. So I went back to school after 20 years out of high school and got my college degree. And then I started developing these programs where I didn't want people to feel like me. And I didn't even know what that meant. So I had to find it. I knew that I had a voice. And when I found out that I had a voice, I started creating a platform to use my voice. So there's this is a thing that's so interesting. We have a voice. Everybody has a voice, but we don't know how to use it. And we try and put our voice on other people's platforms. Well, I created my own platform. So I was able to use my voice. So I created programs and mentoring programs and relationships. I became a relationship communication coach. And then my teenage daughter said, "Hey, mom, can you do something? Can you do something like this for my friends?" So I developed a program for teenagers. Then I developed a program for young kids. Then I developed a program for women. I founded a group called Exhale, a group for women of color who come together and talk about different issues ranging from professional to political. And we went to the meat. We got to the crux of the matter. You know, if subjects like, if you're tired, what to do. You know, what do you do? And I found that women were tired of some of them were tired of being mothers. I could not imagine that. Not one day in my life have I ever been tired of being a mother. And we got together and we came up with different issues, and I would give them homework assignments, and it was all about not putting a Band-Aid on a stud missile wound. It was like, okay, expose it. You got to pull it in. You got to pull it out from the inside. So I started writing and journaling, and it was therapeutic for me. And I thought I was doing all these programs for other people, and I found out, hey, this is helping me. So then, you know, the pandemic hit. You know, I was doing this before the pandemic hit, but I was doing it as a hobby. And I was publishing people's books, and I published my own story. This is my first story, Walking Limitations, and it's Walking Limitations by other people's definition. And I have this nice little picture of me on the back of it. So I was like, okay, wow. And I didn't even market the book. I just wrote it, and I never set out to be an author. So I marketed the book, and I started having people call me and say, well, how'd you do that? Well, can you help me? And I even had people to say, you know what, my cousin wrote a book, my friend wrote a book. I've had four friends write a book, and they won't tell me how to do it. They won't help me. And I kept thinking, why won't people help people? It doesn't cost anything to help, but why won't people help people? So I started helping people, and then the pandemic hit for real. And with all of the issues that I had people say, oh, you should do this and you should do that. And I was like, no, I have a voice, and I need to be able to use the voice. And there are so many people suffering and struggling, and so many people have a story. So what can I do? Pay pro V, pain, progress, victory. So I went through the pain, the progress, and then, oh, now the victory. Here's the victory, where I'm able to take my story and help other people heal through their story. So the victory is helping people take their stories from a thought to a realization. When they get to the realization, that's the victory. And when I tell you, being able to help people to tell their story, I work with people, Barbara, who they want to write a book, but they don't quite know how to start, and they need some help. And there are people they've gone to say, you know, help me. If they don't have the book already in their hand or already on the, you know, in a Word document, people don't want to listen to them. They don't want to help them. But I help you from a thought. I want to know, what's your story idea? You know, who's your audience? Why are you writing this book? What do you hope to accomplish from this book? So I kind of break it down. So here's the story. What do you want for yourself? What do you want for your reader? What do you want for your community? What benefits do you want to achieve from this? I had a call with a young lady yesterday, a new client yesterday, and we do a strategy coaching and development session, and she could not even get through it. And she was like, I'm sorry, I'm so emotional. And, she didn't want to come on camera. She was like, my hair is not together. I said, don't worry about that. It's just me. I'm not looking at your hair. And she started talking about some things that she wanted to include in the book. And then she got really emotional. And I said, and I stopped the session. I said, listen, I said, this is supposed to be this way. I called my very first session heart centered, because we're going to get to the heart of it. I don't want you to take, just to give you an idea, I don't want you to take, I don't want you to bring paper. I don't want you to bring pencil. I don't want you to take notes, because I'm going to do that. And I'm going to take notes, and I'm going to put this together. And this is going to be your heart-centered story. This is going to be your purpose, your motivation, your inspiration. This is your whole why. And I put that into a visual document for them based on what we talk about. So it's supposed to evoke emotions, especially if it's a memoir or an autobiography or a self-help book. It's supposed to. If it does not evoke emotions, are you ready? You're not ready yet. And I helped walk her through the process. And she was like, I have words, Laquita, I'm just lost for words. I said, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. So I take that, I put it together for them, I send it to them, and I say, print it off, put it in your car, put it on your mirror, put it in your wallet, look at it every day, because this is going to keep you going when something comes in the way and say, okay, it's not time for you to write the book. You don't want to write the book. It's not important. It's going to help you through the process. And I'm here. I'm not going to ignore your calls. I'm not going to ignore your emails. I'm here. So I'm going to provide you with an outline. I'm going to walk you through the process, and I'm going to be there to help talk you off the ledge. Because I've had some of my authors have called and said, I can't do this. I mean, we got the book, and it's like, okay, hey, here we are. We need you. I need you to go in, and I need you to make some corrections, or I need you. These are some suggestions. And there are some people who are more resistant to feedback than others. And I'm very honest with them. I'm very straightforward with them, very transparent. I'll tell them, when we do I have a 4-tier publishing process. So, and I'm the first tier. I'm the first tier, and I'm the last tier. Tier number 1 and tier number 4. And I say, okay, when my team gets your book, and whatever team that I assign to you, based on your personality, and that's why I spend a lot of time with my authors. I said, when I'm giving you feedback based on the reading consultant, they're reading your story from the standpoint of your reader. If you say, hey, my reader is a 16-year-old, it's a child, or it's whatever. Well, we know that preschool children can't read their own books. The parents have to read those stories. So you got a mixed audience. You got that. It has to appeal to the parent, and it has to be entertaining to the child. So when you're doing that, we're going to give you feedback. Now, when they come back with their feedback, we're going to do coaching and development based on that feedback. And it's going to be suggestions. If you're resistant to that feedback, when it gets to the editor, the editing, my line editor or my developmental editor, and they're going line by line, it's going to come back to you in the form of red, green, yellow highlights. And you know how you feel when you're in school and your teacher mark up everything with a red pen. You don't like that. That feels negative. So but that's just the way it is. And we don't shy away from the red, the green, and the yellow, because we're not perfect. We're not perfect at all, and we're never gonna be, but we want your finished material. When they get the proof, when my authors get the proof in their hand, I want it to be as close to perfect as it can be, because I want it to be a good quality product. When you get that, when these people have gotten the first book in their hand, just like me, when I got my first book in my hand, I was so excited. I drove down the street to my friend's house and I screamed, shouting. I was just shouting and jumping, because it's an accomplishment. Because out of all the billions of people on the planet, there's a small percentage of us that will actually publish our stories. And I'm not talking about an ebook. There's nothing wrong with the ebook. There's nothing wrong with a how to do your expertise. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But I'm talking about, and I do those too, but I'm talking about healing from your story, telling your story, that thing that has you stuck. And my whole point is, don't leave this world without telling your story, giving somebody the opportunity to know who you are. I want to know, why are you the diamond? Why you got a story? There's a story behind that. Not the beautiful woman that we see on the Diamond Factor Experience, not the jovial, smiling, well put together, beautiful woman. You're a beautiful woman, but there's a story behind the Diamond Factor. There's a story behind that. And I know the story, I know the story, but there's a story that the world doesn't know. And we tell we tell bits and pieces of ourselves just so people can get an introduction. But this tells the story. This tells the nights, the sleeping nights, and the crying through the night. And this is why I'm here. This is
Yeah.
here. This is here. So Pay-Per-View Publishing, I started it in August. I officially started Pay-Per-View Publishing Company in August of 2020. Of 2020. I published my first book 6 years ago.
Okay, that's what I was
published, and this is book number 1. So I've written book number 2. So I've written 5 books. And I published my books myself, but officially started Pay-Per-View Publishing in August. And God is so good.
Congratulations, because I know you've been doing it for a while.
I have. I've been doing it for a while, but officially Pay-Per-View Publishing in August. I did the launch, and I just did the launch, a virtual launch in December. And from that time, it has been amazing. I posted something on social media yesterday that said, my wins. And I just thought, let me just put it, because I'm a visual person. Let me just see what my wins look like. And that was just some of them. But the interesting thing for me was all of that happened since August. When you take a look at it, all of it happened since August, not January, August. So what's the point behind that? The point is God can do anything God wants to do. And if you have a passion for something, and this is my passion, you have to have a passion for it. When you have a passion for it, that your passion coupled with your faith, it will push you, it will catapult you to wherever you need to be, and people will start noticing you. And this has just been since August.
Yes.
And when I tell you, I have seen grown men cry when I put their books in their hand. And I have gotten some very, very compelling stories. The latest one that I just did was Daddy's Journals. And and it was a wife who published her husband. She made her husband a published author, and he didn't know it. And she published his personal journals, and it's called Daddy's Journals, an intimate journey into parenthood. And Barbara, he didn't just say, oh, well, my wife has, your mommy has morning sickness. No, he was very detailed. Very detailed. He started journaling from the time they started talking about having a family. They didn't even know they were pregnant yet when he started journaling. Wow. And then he suspected, he said, I think mommy, because he talked about how when her menstrual comes on, she gets these pimples, and how she didn't have any. And he was like, her skin is so clear. He talked about his anxiety even when they were purchasing a new home, and mommy didn't know if she wanted to go back to work, because when you have a child, you want to be able to stay there for a while and take care. And he said, I don't know. He was like, I don't know how we're going to do this without mommy's income. He talked about when Mike Tyson bit off Evander Holyfield's ear. He talked about the war in Iraq. He talked about all these in the journals, and it showed, and men don't do that.
I know they don't
do that.
They don't let
men don't do that. And then there's Willie Harrison.
Well, before you get to Willie Harrison, because we got to bring you back.
Okay.
I'm just engulfed, and I know we're all
so
engulfed.
Excited.
I got the time, but we definitely got to bring you back for a second win for telling us everything about what you do, because you are so important, and you bring those stories out. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I told you she was a queen.
Yeah, you gotta stop me, because I get excited about what I do. So yeah.
But that's okay. That's why we got session 2 coming. That's why we have session 2. So the queen, I put down to let everybody know. I put her information down, her website, to make sure that you contact this queen, because you can tell the passion that's coming out of her when she talks and how she walks you through your story, so it can get on paper and get in a book, so it can create an impact. See, that's the biggest thing, creating an impact. So,
Yes.
Laquita, thank you so much. And
Thank
again, we
you.
will make sure that we bring you back on for the new year, which is
Yes,
around the
yes, I
corner.
look forward to it. I look forward to it. I do. Thank you so much for having me. This has been a
No
pleasure.
problem. Thank you so
Been a
much.
pleasure.
So you happy new year to you and your family. And I wish you so much blessings upon blessings that you already are getting, and even more.
Thank you so much. Happy New Year to you. And Barbara, I just want to say outstanding. You are outstanding. You are definitely the Queen Diamond. And
Oh,
I tip my hat to you. If I had a hat on, I'd tip my hat to you.
well,
I
virtual
love
hugs
you.
to
Yes.
you. Love you.
Love you, love you, love you. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye bye.
Bye. I told you this woman was awesome and amazing. And I know it's just so much time in my show. Maybe I need to do some more days. I'm thinking about that now, because I just have so many good people to bring on, and we get to talking, and it's just so powerful. You don't want to stop. Did you do you think I feel I was like, no, I don't want to stop, because she had another thing. She's gonna tell you some other stuff. But then I said, you know what? No, that's okay. I'll fix that. I'll just bring her on for another show. And then we just continue on with what she does. But the biggest thing, and I kept her link down here, because I'm telling you, this woman will put your story, I'm telling you, you will become great impact in the world. I just can't elaborate how she will walk you through and help you and guide you through that. I know a lot of people, when it comes to your story, I have my stories too, and sometimes you be like, "Ugh, I don't want to say that," or "Oh no, that hurts so much," or "Do I got to bring that pain back again?" or "Oh my God, they're not going to believe I did this." I mean, all that's going on, I know, in your head, because it goes on in mine too. But I've learned through telling my stories. I mean, I've been telling bits, like she said, bits and pieces out there, because I want to make sure that I can connect with people. And I want to make sure, because your stories, there's a reason for them. It's not just for you to sit there and say, oh, I went through and I have a story in my life. It's there to help others, connect with others that maybe went through similar situations, and then let them know that there's hope, so you can move forward in your life. It's like a stepping stone of strength, I always call people. So make sure that, don't hone in the stories in your life. You need to bring them out. See, a lot of people go the opposite and say, I'm guarded. No, you need to open up and let it, because you don't know who you're touching, and you might be saving somebody's life. And I say that so importantly. You don't know who you're touching in your story to save somebody else's life. So please get the queen, the Queen of Parks. She will walk you, guide you, and make sure that your story is out there. And I know I get on the soapbox, because I truly believe in my queens, and I believe that they can get you to that next level in what you're trying to do in your life. So with that, I enjoyed everybody. Again, we will be back. Whew, boy, this week, I mean, can you believe it? After tomorrow is going to be New Year's Day, this Friday. So we will be back on Friday. A lot of people ask me, well, it's a holiday. I said, no, I came on Christmas. I'm coming on New Year's. I got to keep it moving. I got to keep seeing you guys. I got to keep bringing you some positive energy here. So, yes, I will be back on Friday with our experts and another special guest. And with that, as I always say, remember to shine your passion, as Barry said, your purpose, as Laquita was talking about, your story and your drive, which I always say, to drive you through what you're trying to do in your life. And that's what I call PPD, your purpose, passion, and drive. That's your foundation. That's that diamond factor inside of you. So remember to always, always, as I say, shine for the world.